Alright, so continuing our series on horizontal spinning, today we're going to talk about horizontal caps and flowers, which is combining extension and anti-spin and also ideas on in-spin. And to do that, I'm going to jump down a level. Ink and ruins, ink and ruins, ink and ruins, ink and ruins, ink and ruins. Right. So at this point, you should be very comfortable spinning horizontally. If you're on Playpoi.com, which you should be, you'll be following these videos maybe in order if you're learning this as you go. And so you should have some idea of anti-spin and in-spin, but this is a great way to get better at it. So to begin, it's nice to be somewhere where you have four clear directions. So for instance, I happen to have a wall, a bush, a big mountain, and ink and ruins. So start with one poi, and I'm going to start playing inwards as a choice. So it's going counterclockwise from my point of view. If I turn to the left with the poi, that can be extension. So pretty obvious what that is. If I turn slower than the poi, it's going to be in-spin. And what's nice is if you get a sense of letting the poi spin in at first, maybe with the four directions. So that would be one in-spin once in past my belly at the wall, at the ruins, at the mountain, at the bush. Wall, ruins, mountain, bush, wall, ruins, mountain, bush. It's just nice to have a good, clear sense of that, and if you can keep that stable, then the geometry of your poi becomes stable and a lot more beautiful to the eye. So of course you can play with it any way you want. It could also just be once at the wall, mountain, or even an in-spin at the wall and extension. Wall and extension, in-spin, extension. And you can play and play and play, and that's why there's so many variations in what you can do. But once the extension and in-spin are nice and smooth, next thing is playing with anti-spin. And another good prerequisite for this, by the way, is isolation. If you've got a nice, clean, horizontal isolation, a horizontal anti-spin is going to come a lot easier because they're very related. But if you feel ready for that, you take your poi spinning inwards, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to let it, when it's extended out away from me, to touch each direction once. And I'm not going to turn to the right. So I touch the wall, bush, mountain, ruins, wall. There's the ruins and the mountain, so it's a little bit confusing. And that, again, will take time. You'll have to practice. But with time, it'll become completely instinctual, where I'm just going boom, 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 boom. And I can even try, when I get back to the wall, I'm trying to poke the same rock. Boom. There's like a five-sided one that I'm trying to, it might open a portal if I get it. Right? And as that becomes consistent, that's your flower becoming consistent. And again, if you're retracing the same shape every time, you start getting an incredible feeling for it, and also visually it becomes stunning because you get persistence of vision in the pattern. So a little bit of practice, that'll come. And again, of course, you keep switching right arm, left arm, inwards, outwards on your own. You want to practice all the variations. When in-spin, extension, and anti-spin, when they're all beginning to come together, you can turn it into a cap. That's where you come back, and again, we're just playing with right arm inwards for the demonstration purposes. I'll crank myself over here. I'll do an extension to get over to here, and I stop. It's still spinning inwards, and I anti-spin to get back. So it's extension, anti-spin to get back. And once it starts to work, I'm going to bounce back. So anti-spin, extension, anti-spin, extension. And that's a horizontal cap, because it's anti-spin and I cap it. Anti-spin and I cap it. It's a capped anti-spin pattern. So this is just one anti-spin in the middle. I could also go a little further and do two. Anti-spin, anti-spin, loop. Anti-spin, anti-spin, extension. Anti-spin, anti-spin, extension. I could go even further, and that could be three. all the variations you can play with. And then I can go the other way, and I can do it in opposite direction. And I can do all of this also above my arm. Now, of course, on your own, you want to practice both arms, both directions. And again, if you're new at playing with flowers and anti-spin, this stuff just takes time. It's not something you learn in a weekend. At least I sure didn't. I mean, it was really, I think, probably over the course of 6 months that I really put a lot of time into playing with all this flower stuff, or a year. And it really was over that, came together over that course of time. And then over the years, you go further and further with it. But it's like learning to play guitar. You just assume you're going to put in the time. Once each arm is comfortable and staying nice and horizontal, you're ready to put them together. And that's when it gets super fun. A bit of a brain twister, but super fun. Take both poi. Both inwards is a great way to start. I start off to the right, and I'm going to turn to my left. Now the left, of course, is going to be anti-spin. The right is going to be extension. A good baby step, which I highly recommend, is the first time, just let your right hang. You might turn a whole circle to your left, and when you do it, you focus on the left, doing anti-spin, and the right's going to naturally become an extension as you turn. Right? 1 circle, 2 circles. Then I can go the other way. I let my right spin inwards. It's going to be the anti-spin. And the left automatically becomes an extension. So I can play, left is going to be anti-spin while the right's an extension. Right's anti-spin while the left is an extension. Once you have the feeling for that combination in your body, come back to both spinning. And again, you might want to focus on the one that's you're turning towards, if it's inwards, because the anti-spin will probably be the harder one. And the trick is it's going to happen as that right's coming around to be an extension for my arm. That's when I'm going to begin, and I'm going to go keep the left anti-spinning, and you stop here and they're still both inwards. If they're not, something went wrong. So try again. From here, they're both inwards. Again, I focus a little bit on the right because it's going to be the anti-spin, and I'm going to go keep it anti-spinning to get to here. Once it starts to work, I can go left is anti-spinning, right is anti-spinning, left is anti-spinning, right is anti-spinning. And then I breathe, and I relax, and pretty soon, meaning weeks, it's just doing this. And originally, at some point it'll feel like such a brain twister, eventually feels like the most natural thing in the world, above or below your arms, or combining them. You can do things like you can let the extension be the middle above the hand of the other one. Nice feeling, and it looks really super cool. And ta-da, you've added a whole bunch of cool stuff to your horizontal spinning. Again, it looks nice, and also it just feels like you're flying. There's so many places it goes. I could dance with it a little more, but the ground's a little more uneven than it might look from up there. The great thing is that this all translates perfectly to vertical. So if you can learn all that, it will become all of this. And you will be able to do switchbacks on the horizontal plane also. Oops. Pardon me. I'm just going to do that again. The nice thing about all of this is if you get a real sense of this on the horizontal plane, you'll also be able to do it on the vertical plane. Because there's that same ability to switch back. Works on this plane just the way it works on the horizontal plane. The difference is that playing with all of that on the vertical plane, it's a lot more work on the shoulders. So you can kind of take it easy on yourself, learn to do it here to get good at it, and then it translates to all your vertical patterns. So of course there's a lot more to go with all of our horizontal spinning. We'll be making more videos to show you more cool stuff. If you're following along, if you like this, if you like me, do watch these videos on Playpoi. Come to playpoi.com. You can come right to playpoi.com, click through to playpoi.com/participate and find out about all the stuff that really helps us do this. Most of it's free. I don't necessarily need your money, but I need your love. So just come, check it out. Come to playpoi.com, tell your friends, keep enjoying poi. Just let me know what makes you happy, and we'll keep making videos as we travel around Peru.